Hi, I'm Jack Shilley and a happy new year to all my subscribers. This is the first video that I produced in 2021 and I am really excited. So, why am I so excited? Well, because it's been about a year since Lewis, my partner, and I moved into our new build property, and we've been focusing obviously on getting settled and our careers and obviously making sure everything's all right for the past 12 months. We've done lots of stuff in the house, but we've recently spent a bit of time in the garden just after Christmas getting it ready for the new year, and I'm very excited to say that this is my fabulous new greenhouse. It's 6 by 6 foot in size. There's plenty of room to grow all kinds of seedlings in here. It's about 10 degrees in here, outside it's about 8, so it is keeping things nice and toasty. There is also a raised bed in here, which I'm really looking forward to growing some watermelons in later in the year. Never done that before, but there's plenty of space in which to do it. And we've also just started digging over a veg patch, which is just outside here. Now, for those of you who have bought a new build property before, you'll know that the gardens characteristically are not great. There's often rubble, building debris, all kinds of stuff in the soil, and if it's not very well sort of looked after or dug over. That is exactly the case here. So where we've dug the veg patch, you'll see in a moment, it's very clayey, it's quite waterlogged, so there's quite a bit of work to be done there. But what I wanted to do this year is go back to sort of my old style videos that I did some time ago, and that is to do sort of a weekly or fortnightly, depending on time, garden update, where I walk you around everything that's going on the patio, in the veg pot, in the greenhouse, as well as then releasing shorter, more specific videos about horticultural tasks that require a bit more detail or I'm finding particularly interesting, and then that way you get a really good rounded feel for what's happening in the garden at that particular moment. But the reason why I wanted to do weekly updates is because I think sharing my experiences of setting up a new veg patch, new greenhouse, other things in a new build setting going to be quite interesting. I'm sure there's going to be some failures along the way, quite a few problems and bumps in the road, but also just because I quite like talking about plants and gardening, so why not share that with you on a more regular basis. There's not much going on in the garden at the moment. We've had some snow this morning, but it has really warmed up out there now. It's about 7 or 8 degrees outside, so that is the perfect time to be getting on with soil preparation for any new veg patches or any existing veg patches, weeding, tidying, and then top dressing and mulching. So digging in a nice mulch, exactly what I'm going to be doing with the soil in the veg patch. And also, because the weather looks quite mild for the next week or two, I'm also going to plant out my raspberry canes into the veg patch today as well. So I'll talk to you a little bit about my process of planting those. Super simple. But otherwise, I just wanted to use this video as an introduction to let you know what I'm going to be doing with the channel this year, hopefully producing a lot more content, and also bringing you along for the journey in a totally new veg patch in an area of land that has never been cultivated or had anything grown on it before. So, as I said, today I'm going to head out to the veg patch to do a bit more work on the soil and get some planting done. So, as I said, this is the new veg patch, and the soil is not brilliant. It's very stony, it's very clayey, especially when you dig down a bit. And at the moment, I don't know if you can hear, it's also incredibly waterlogged. So any of the winter months, as long as the ground isn't frozen, is a good time to improve the soil structure, improve the drainage, and get it ready for planting when the season rolls around in April and May. Now, what I'm going to be doing with this to start with is just by digging in quite a generous amount of manure. It needs to be well rotted manure, because otherwise it contains too much ammonia and you risk damaging the soil or the plants you then put in it. One other thing about the soil at this time of year is if you do dig it over, it's best to leave it exposed, particularly if it's clay soil, because what happens is when it freezes and then thaws, it breaks up the large clumps of clay and improves the soil structure quite significantly. So I've left it open. It has been quite cold and frosty. I'm going to add in the manure now and then get ready to plant the raspberry canes in. You want to make sure you remove as much of the weeds as possible. This was lawn previously, so there are still clumps of grass in there, but I'll be getting rid of those in due course. One other thing that I forgot to mention is that we've also, as we were digging this patch over initially, added in another type of organic matter in the form of chicken manure pellets. Now these are great, these are one of my favourites and I would 100% recommend them. They're small pellets and They degrade into the soil, especially if you water them in straight away, and release nutrients and help improve the structure of the soil and the nutrient content. Vegetable plants absolutely love them, organic as well, being a natural product. And we've mixed those in with the soil already, so adding the manure in now is going to add that extra boost that the soil needs. So as I said, I'm going to be popping my raspberry canes today because the soil's quite mild. It's soft where we've had all the rain, and it's ready to get them planted in. Now, raspberries generally don't like soils that are waterlogged and very heavy. So this is going to be a bit of a trial and possibly an error, planting them straight into here, but I'm going to give them a go. I'm going to put them along the fence, A, because the fence can then provide them with support. We can put some eyelets in and string them up, which is what they'll need in summer, but B, because that's where the drainage is best. It's not as waterlogged in that particular section as the rest of the veg patch at the moment. Now, I've got bare root raspberry canes. These are the most cost-effective way to buy them, and at this time of year, in the winter, this is how you'll find them at garden centres or have them posted to you. This is a variety called Malling Jewel. It's a very good variety. It has an award of garden merit from the RHS. It's a strong, reliable summer variety. They don't look like much at the moment, but on some of these, as you can see, there is new root growth. So when you're planting them at this time of year, that's what's happening below the soil. They're getting themselves bedded in, getting the root system established, so that by the time they come into leaf and then fruit subsequently later in the season, they're going to be much stronger, healthier plants. You want to plant them to the same soil level as they are on the canes, which is about here. That's no more than 4 inches deep, and you want to firm them in well, and if your soil is dry, give them a good water in. Obviously not in this case. I'm going to plant them in a row, which is the best way to grow them, right along the fence here, and as I said, see how they fare in this soil throughout the rest of the year. It's gone quite cloudy out there. I think it's going to rain again, so I'm going to call it quits for today. As I said, not a huge amount else going on at the moment, but that will increase certainly over the next few weeks. There'll be some seeds to sow, possibly looking at getting a heater for in here, so we'll be able to sow a few more bits and pieces before it really warms up. But thanks ever so much for watching. Let me know what you're up to in the garden this week in the comments below, or any questions you've got for me, pop them in the box below, or on any of my other social media links. All the details you need are in the description. As I said, videos will be coming out a lot more regularly, so hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and also turn on the notifications for my channel, and you won't miss out as soon as the video is released. Got the raspberries in, got the first lot of manure into the veg patch. There will be more to come, and started to prepare everything for sowing, getting the seed trays and everything else ready in the greenhouse, ready for when it warms up just a little bit more. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next video.